Hey guys, I'm TMWF1, and honestly, I think that might have been the worst F1 race I have been forced to sit through in my entire life. Okay, maybe not the worst. I think Spa 21 was worse, but oh my god, this was a farce. I'm sorry, this race was a farce. I know that they've tried something different, but holy, have they got it wrong. I just don't understand. I feel like I need to come on here and talk about it because honestly, I think that was one of the worst races I've had to sit through, and just because it was so manufactured. But anyways, I'll go into full detail about what happened in this video. But yeah, I just felt like without no script, without anything, I just had to make a video on it because holy, that was a hard watch. That was such a hard watch, man. But anyways, if you like this type of content, feel free to like and subscribe. It's only 2 buttons and it really helps the algorithm deliver my videos to more people. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about what happened, why it's happened, and well, what's gonna happen going forward. Going into the Monaco Grand Prix weekend, we were told that there would be a new regulation change for this race, and only this race, purely because in 2024 there was a grand total of 0 overtakes at the previous Monaco Grand Prix, and also everyone I think that started in the top 7 finished in that position from when the red flag came out, because they were allowed to make a pit stop. So no one else made actual other pit stop. They were all on hard tires, and it was kind of just a procession towards the end. For the 2025 Monaco Grand Prix, they decided that there would be 2 mandatory pit stops that you had to undertake, a bit like how back in 2023 at the Qatar Grand Prix you had to make a pit stop. I think I can't remember how many times it was, but you had to make a certain amount of pit stops purely because of grading. But this wasn't because of grading, this was because of a racing issue. And to commend the FIA for doing something, like, fair enough, for actually trying something to improve the race, because it's been a problem for the past few years, well, for the past few decades to be honest, that you can't overtake around Monaco because the cars are so wide now. And yeah, fair play to the FIA for actually trying something this race. I will give them that, but that's the only sort of praise I can give to them for the moment, because holy, oh my god. Yeah, let's go through this race weekend. Everything was going well until the start of the race. Practice. Qualifying was absolute cinema, with Norris taking a very surprise pole, which means my video is now irrelevant. He always does this. He always wants to turn up when I make a video on him. Oh my god, man. But yeah, qualifying was great. Yeah, very close between the teams. Very surprised Q2 exit by Mercedes. Hadjar in P5, well, P6 before, Hamilton got impeded by Verstappen in Q2. But like, it was a good quali. It's probably one of the best qualities of the year, purely because we know how bad the race is going to be and how difficult it's going to be to overtake. So by elimination, it would be then the best qualifying of the year, or the most important qualifying of the year. And yeah, then the race came around. I'd just woken up because I was out the night before. We don't talk about that. And first things first, it was genuinely a good start. Norris locked up into turn 1. And then Gabriele Bortoleto, I saw an overtake round the outside of Kimi Antonelli at the hairpin, which was surprising. So I was thinking maybe there would actually be overtakes this race. Maybe it wasn't going to be a shit show. Antonelli decided to kill Gabriele Bortoleto in response to him getting overtaken at the hairpin. Then the bullshit started, because from then on, we had absolutely zero, nada, no overtaking on track. Nothing. 0 overtakes all race. That is a farce. I'm sorry. That's a farce. And I'm glad these new regulations are coming in to make the car smaller, despite how unaerodynamic they're going to be in the corners. But where do I even start? Okay, we'll start on lap 9, where Pierre Gasly crashed into the back of Yuki Tsunoda at the Nouvelle Chicane. This meant that a virtual safety car was called, and that Gabriele Bortoleto and Ollie Behrman decided to pit under the virtual safety car. This really didn't help them at all. Yes, it allowed them to make an extra pit stop and catch up to the back of the pack, but realistically, they didn't actually make their way through the pack for reasons which will be explained later on. And it is now time to explain those reasons. So, the strategist at RB had a very smart idea. They realized that since you had to make 2 mandatory pit stops, meaning if you didn't, you'd get a 30-second penalty, he realized he could use the other VCARB of Lawson, who was in P9 and Hadjar was in P5, to basically back up the rest of the field so that Hadjar would at least get P8, at least, because he'd be able to make his 2 pit stops. And then he would be able to get his 2 pit stops out of the way whilst holding up everyone. So basically, Hadjar will just have the entire track free. And that's what they decided to do, which meant that Lawson was going 4 seconds a lap slower than most cars, but they couldn't overtake because, well, you can't overtake a Monaco because the cars are too wide and the track's too narrow. So essentially, Hadjar eventually made up his 2 pit stops. He lost the position to Hamilton and Alonso, but then Alonso retired like halfway through the race around lap 40. He only lost 1 position to Hamilton when Hamilton overcut both Alonso and Hadjar on the first pit stops. But that's a Ferrari, that's to be expected. Lawson held up the entire rest of the grid. It got to the point where people were getting laps around halfway through the race up to 9th, and that's only like lap 30 something up to 9th. People were getting laps because they were going that slow. Williams saw this and was like, look here, we're in a bad position. We can't get past these people. So let's basically just try and do the same thing and see if it works. So they did the same thing. Sainz decided to hold up everyone from P10, decided to hold up everyone from P10 all the way to the P18 or whatever. And it worked. Albon basically did his 2 pit stops ahead of everyone and came back out in 9th. He was still behind Lawson. They were trying to get ahead of Lawson, but that didn't happen. And so Williams was like, cool, let's try it again so we can try and get Sainz into the points, because the Mercedes were getting frustrated as hell. So they swapped places. Sainz scampered off into the distance, and then they did it again. They did it again. And it got to the point where Hamilton had lapped everyone twice from Hadjar below. They were that slow. It like four seconds slower than the normal pace of the car. It got so bad that the front runners were getting held up by the back markers because there was so many on the streets of Monaco that that was like a conga line of cars. And Norris, Leclerc, Piastri, Verstappen had to go through all of them at once. Oh my god, when I watched this, yeah, I was just like, what in the hell is going on? Like, it was just painful to watch. Like, I don't think I've ever seen an F1 race where it was more of a procession than an actual race like that. I know Monaco is bad, but when you're intentionally slowing down so your teammate can get his 2 pit stops out of the way, this just shows that mandatory pit stops are a bad idea. Because then you can kind of manufacture a race. You can, yeah, especially at that track, it would be easy to manufacture. I kind of see where Pirelli was going with this to try and create more action, but they've gone about it the wrong way, man. They've gone about it completely the wrong way. What they should have done was I think Martin Brundle said it. What they should have done was created you have a limit of when you have to pit. Like, you have to pit by lap 15. You have to pit by lap 20, lap 30. To manufacture saying you have to pit twice at the very least is ridiculous. Because look what Max did. Max Verstappen was leading the not majority of the race, but the late stage of the race. He didn't have to pit. If he didn't pit, he would have gotten a 30-second penalty, but he would have also finished P4 regardless, because Hamilton was 40 seconds back because he got held up by back markers and he just didn't use the pace of his mediums for some reason. So we were just left with a position of, well, we know who's going to win. We know who's going to finish second. We know who's going to finish third if there's no safety car, which there wasn't past the VSC. So we know he's going to win. We know he's going to finish second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, up to Ocon, and maybe even Lawson. We knew where he was going to finish where, because no one was holding each other up from then. And oh my god, it's just a horrible, horrible race. Just a farce, man. Like, I understand why people want Monaco off the calendar now. And it's not because I don't necessarily, I'd like Monaco to stay, but I'd also like the cast to get smaller for Monaco to stay. Because if that's not going to happen, then Monaco has to go. It's as simple as that. It's actually ridiculous. The more and more I think about it, the more ridiculous it is. It got so bad that George Russell was willing to take a drive-through penalty because he was being held up by the Williams of Albon so much. It was that bad. He was like, you know what? I'll take the penalty because he's driving slow as hell. It's erratic and this isn't good. On the post-race interview, Sainz was quoted saying, "I don't like doing this. I don't think it's a good idea. It's what we have to do to get points, but I don't like it." And honestly, I think that you can't really blame the drivers for doing what the engineers tell you to do. It's just disappointing. It was such a disappointing race. Really, really disappointing. But hey, that's my rant over. Again, if you like these type of rants, feel free to subscribe. Tell me in the comments if I should do more, because I've got another one about F1 fans this time, so hopefully you'll enjoy that. And flipping hell, man, Monaco, FIA, please change something. Change the cars, somehow make the barriers wider. I don't know, do something. Ref, do something, please. Please. I'm sick and tired of watching a conga line every single time I turn on my TV for this race. This is why people watch the Indy 500. This is why their views are way higher than F1's usually, because that's usually on the same time. So yeah. But as always, you can follow me on Instagram. I've got 2 accounts, my clips account and my main account. You can follow me on Twitter as well. I just made a new, well, not just, but I'm just starting to use it. So if you follow me there, that would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, peace out. I'll see you, I don't know, maybe a week. Who knows? I'm trying to be consistent. But hey, as always, have a good day and goodbye.